And I, ladies and gentlemen, am back. Rush Limbaugh, America's real anchorman. And don't worry, I have all of this under control. Because if I don't, nobody else does or will. And I've always told you when it be time to panic, and it's not time to panic yet. Nowhere near it. While all this stuff's going on the Republican side, ABC, Washington Post has a poll, and the American people's confidence on the economy is still falling. And that is, I don't care how often Obama tries to blame it on Bush, it ain't going to fly. There is nothing Obama can run on. In the last 3 years, he can say, give me another 4 years to do more of this. There's nothing he can cite. There's not one thing that has happened in these past 3 years that Obama can run on. They're going to turn down the Keystone pipeline. That's the news. Fox has it out there. The State Department is going to officially reject it because the route that the pipeline takes goes through the lovely, pristine wilds of Nebraska, and it would upset everything if it broke, which doesn't happen to pipelines, blah, blah, blah. Now, let me tell you something, folks, about this. This is very, very simple. And there have been worldwide surveys on this. This is not my opinion. This is economic fact. One of the primary ingredients, mechanisms, if you will, in lifting people economically is access to affordable, plentiful, cheap energy. In fact, there's a good old boy from Georgia who said recently, I've got it a stack here. One of the story in the stacks is this: there's something and everybody is missing here about what happened to the Chinese communists. And one of the reasons that they're never going to be able now to hold on to communism, and it's just one word, or 2 words actually, air conditioning. Once the mainland Chinese discovered what they had in Hong Kong, they wanted it for themselves. And now the Chinese are expanding their electronic grid. So's India. They are bringing affordable and relatively cheap market price energy to their people. That lifts electricity, and the availability of electricity is one of the most crucial elements of freedom. Economic advancement. The denial of this pipeline is the denial of access to more domestic energy that would lessen our dependence on foreign sources. It would make our overall supply greater, thereby lowering prices. It is a win-win that this administration is rejecting. And they are rejecting it on environmental grounds. That's the public position on this. Now, what the plan is, I am here to tell you what the plan is. The plan is to reject this during the campaign. Obama is in trouble. He needs to secure his base. He needs to hold on to the wackos of the Democrat Party base. He needs to keep their campaign contributions flowing. I'm frankly surprised that they've announced their decision this soon on this. I thought they'd try to keep this going as long as they could, extend it to get campaign donations coming from both sides of it, the all business side and the environmentalist wacko side. They've obviously made a political calculation. It's more important to secure the base right now because they're in trouble. I don't care what's going on the Republican side. They claim that the Republican campaign, the campaign's going to be about the Republican nominee. It's going to be about Obama. This election is going to be about Barack Obama. He is the steward of a declining economy that an ABC News Washington Post poll tells us that more and more people are feeling more and more negative about the economy. Nobody wants to live in a nation in decline. Nobody wants to live in a nation in decline on purpose. Well, I don't say nobody, but we're not to the point where the majority of Americans want to live in a plundered, failed, downturned economy forever. That's not what most people want. Obama right now cannot afford for this pipeline to be approved because it would provide glaring evidence of all the errors he's made the previous 3 years. He simply can't do it. This pipeline, approving it, bringing more energy into this country would do great benefit to this country. It would, the moment this deal were to be announced, it would have immediate effects on people's confidence in the business sector, people who plan ahead, it would be demonstrable. Can't afford for that to happen because it would shine the light on all the failures of this regime in the 3 previous years. Plus, it would totally blow up his base. Can't have that. So what's going to happen? This will be resubmitted if Obama wins in 2013, and it'll be miraculously approved. Now, right now, it is purely and simply a campaign issue. Well, yeah, I thought Jobs was too. But as far as the jobs are concerned, Obama is hoping just the appearance of interest in creating jobs will be enough to convince people he's doing something about it. But jobs, at minimum 20,000. Over the long haul, hundreds of thousands of jobs would be created as a result of the Keystone Pipeline. None of it matters. None of the reality matters. That's where we are. And I think donations from the environmentalist wackos must be down. I think they must. I'm guessing here, but I'm just assuming that the money coming in from the wacko side is not what they thought. I think they're lagging behind. I think that's what this indicates. Because right now, everything Obama's doing is oriented toward money. And it always is. About everything. But now it's specifically campaign money and re-election money, so forth. So... no, they're weighing. No, the calculation is that if you don't have your base, you don't have a chance. If your base loses energy, if your base is demoralized, if your base is mad at you and the proverbial threats to stay home pop up, then you have no prayer, no matter the fraud, no matter the cheating, no matter how much walking around street money you've got. If you lose your base, this is frankly, the Republican Party runs this risk every 4 years. They purposely irritate the base. I think Obama is probably losing his. And on the Keystone Pipeline, the unions are on both sides of it too. Unions are on both sides. Some union people don't want the pipeline, others do, because it's jobs. And so the union donations on the anti-pipeline side are not automatic. That if they don't go, well, they're not going to go to Republicans, but they don't have to give. There's a lot of single issue constituencies on the Democrat part of their coalition. A lot of single issue constituencies. And they're just like our side. If they're not satisfied, they'll get all humpty-hump and sit around and not participate. And threaten not to participate. So there's going to be, like the Wall Street Journal, 7 charged in insider trading probe, including some of Wall Street's biggest money managers. That's guaranteed a campaign show trial. Wall Street on trial. We can all see how this is going to shake down. I don't know. No, because congressmen are not, it's not illegal. They can do insider trading. Yeah, there's no proscription against them. You heard about the Occupy D.C. protesters throwing a couple of smoke bombs over the White House fence yesterday. Remember when the Tea Party used to do that all the time? No, I don't either. I don't know why these protesters even bothered to go to the White House. Don't they already realize it's already occupied? They don't need to occupy the White House. They have it. I still love what the Prime Minister of Canada said. Hey, look, you guys, you want to treat your country like a giant national park, it's off limits to everybody, you go right ahead. But we don't look at our country that way, and we're going to pipe this oil somewhere. And if we have to send it to the Chi-Coms, we will do it. Top White House officials are warning, this from thehill.com. Top White House officials are warning liberal and labor leaders to brace themselves for President Obama's budget proposal. Gene Sperling, director of the National Economic Council, sought in meetings last week to lift the left's gloom about Washington's crackdown on spending by promising that the president this year will focus on job creation rather than deficit cutting. How many times now have we been promised a laser-like focus on job creation by this president? Well, here's, what is this, the 9th or 10th time now? Obama's staffers sought to present their budget plan as a glass half full. According to sources familiar with the briefings, they promised that the president will focus on jobs and the economy instead of deficit cutting, which dominated last year's debate on Capitol Hill. Now, the translation of that is that Obama is going to push for spending, stimulus, instead of cutting spending. So what is there for labor unions and the rest of the left not to like? What is this? You won't like the budget? I think what's really going on here is that the regime is warning the left that they're going to have to offer a budget that sounds like there are cuts. But they don't want them to have to worry since there really won't be any cuts. Do any of us really think Obama or any Democrat's going to present a budget with cuts? I mean real cuts. It isn't going to happen. But now that Obama's laid it out, hey, get ready. We're going to have to really cut this budget, blah, blah, and the media will carry that along, but there won't be any cuts. We are coming up on the 1,000th day without a budget. The 1,000th day that the Democrat Party has not offered or presented a budget. But this article from The Hill repeats several times that Obama is going to focus on jobs and the economy instead of deficit cutting. Never mind the deal he made back in August to get the debt ceiling raised. So what he's really doing here again is to translate this for you again. Obama's telling his base he's going to push for more spending, more stimulus, instead of cutting spending. He's telling the labor unions and the rest of his foot soldiers he's still going to find ways to funnel them money, despite the supposed spending cuts contained. When he tells them he's going to focus on jobs, the translation, I'm sending you money. That's what it means. Don't worry about the cuts in here. Don't worry about whatever appear to be cuts. I'm focusing on jobs. And every time Obama focuses on jobs, that means stimulus. Jobs equals federal spending, according to Obama. And that's the message he's sending to his troops here. We'll be right back. Don't go away.